Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rhea V. Masalunga. Of course, you can't see me because I'm trying to show you the presentation. I'm going to present to you the review of one of the graduate studies, which is entitled The Study of the Effectiveness of Daily Lesson Log to the Teaching Learning Processes Perceived by the Teachers of Catanuan Central School. This was done by Arlene R. Guzman and was published on March 2015. Why did I choose this study? Because the implementation of daily lesson log took place or take effect just this school year in our school. So I'm really after whether it's really effective or not. That's why I chose this study. Moving on, the problem is the purpose of the study was to present documented results of perception of teachers in Catanuan Central School on the effectiveness of daily lesson log or DLL to the teaching learning process and served as a basis for enhanced teaching plan. There are five answers which the researchers sought to answer. One is, what is the profile of the teacher? That is based on the age. The teacher are actually the respondent, which is based on the age, gender, educational attainment, and length of service. Two, what is the effectiveness of DLL to the teaching learning process as perceived by the teachers of Catanuan Central School in terms of teachers, classroom management, and students learning in terms of that is the parameter would be knowledge, skills, and attitude. Three, what are the weaknesses of daily lesson log to the teaching learning process as perceived by teachers of Catanuan Central School? Four, is there a significant relationship between effectiveness of DLL to the teaching learning processes perceived by the teachers of Catanuan Central School when grouped according to their profile? I think that is whether DLL is more effective to the younger generation, or is it more effective to those with higher educational attainment, or to those who have longer years of service in school, probably like that. And number five, is there a significant relationship between the effectiveness of DLL to the teaching learning process and its weaknesses, that's weaknesses, as perceived by teachers of Catanuan Central School? So the researcher hypothesized that there is no significant relationship between the effectiveness of DLL to the teaching learning process as perceived by the teachers of Catanuan Central School when grouped according to their profile. The other one is that there is no significant relationship between the effectiveness of DLL to the teaching learning process and its weaknesses as perceived by teachers of Catanuan Central School. Later on, we'll find out whether these hypotheses are rejected or accepted. And based on what I learned, I think these hypotheses are null hypotheses, since the word no, that is the word no, it signifies that the hypothesis is null. What are the method of research? The author specified that she used descriptive method to identify the respondent's profile, effectiveness, and the weaknesses of the DLL. However, I am quite concerned with the descriptive method because, for one, she uses not only descriptive, she also uses ANOVA, one-way ANOVA test, and the Z-test, which are, according to our teacher, that is already inferential statistic. Later on, I'll show you the slides. The locale of the study is the Catanuan Central School in Catanuan, Quezon, basically, because this is the workplace of the researcher, and the respondents are all the teachers in the said school. But again, this is quite confusing because the sampling design is through random sampling techniques. Why do you have to... I don't see the need to do random sampling technique, because again, the researchers said that the respondents are all the teachers in the said school. When you say all the teachers, why do you have to sample them randomly, right? Anyhow, data were gathered through questionnaires, and the sources of data are the old class records, probably the scores, internet websites, reference, and books. So these are what the statistical techniques. Again, she used frequency distribution, percentage, mean, standard deviation, which according to what I learned from Mr. Inigo is that they are descriptive statistics. And she also used one-way ANOVA or the C-test, which are already part of the inferential statistics. Some formula, frequency and percentage. One is percentage equals the frequency over n times 100. Ranking is from lowest to highest. This is her typo error, which will be used. She write which will use anyhow. The next one is the weighted mean. Weighted mean is equal to the summation of the frequency of responses times the weight of response divided by n, or the total number of weights. For the weighted mean, use the following scale values: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And the weighted mean, the range from 4.21 to 5 is strongly agree, that's a verbal interpretation, and to 1.0 to 1.80, that's strongly disagree. Statistical treatment of data. One-way ANOVA, this is the formula that she used for the one-way ANOVA. F equals the mean sum of squares between over the mean sum of squares within. How to get the mean sum of squares between? That is the sum of squares between divided by the degrees of freedom between. Mean sum of squares within is equal to the sum of squares within divided by the degrees of freedom within. Excuse me. And then the sum of squares between is equal to the summation of the number of observation times the square of the mean of each samples minus the total mean. The sum of squares within is equal to the summation of the number of observations minus 1 times the standard deviation of each sample, square that. Okay. Z-test is equal to x bar. X bar is the mean of first sample minus the mean of the second sample over the square root of s1 squared over n1 plus s, the second s squared divided by n2. S is the standard deviation, and n refers to the number of observations. So those are the formula that she used to gather the data, to interpret and organize the data. Anyhow, chapter 4, it's the representation of the data were gathered from 65, that's the total number of teachers, and these are presented in tables and graphs. By the way, she used 24 tables, which gave me a hard time encoding all the tables. Anyhow, again, going back, the researchers sought to find 5 parameters. Among the 5, the first one is the profile of the teachers, and as we recall, if we're going to recall, it includes the age, the gender, the length of service, and the educational attainment. So let's take a look at them one at a time and how she applied the statistical treatment of data. So for one, that is the age. This is the table 1. Frequency distribution of respondents according to the age. So that's 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60. This is the frequency to 21 to 38, 31 to 40, 40 is 41 to 50, and there are 15, 51 to 60, which was later on transformed into a bar graph. That is this is the age and this is the frequency. I forgot to do that. And this is her interpretation. Let me zoom that in so you can see it better. Accordingly, 65 respondents consisted of 2 respondents in age of 21 to 30, representing 3.1% of the total, 8 respondents in the age of 31 to 40, representing 12.3% of the total, 40 respondents in the age of 41 to 50, representing 61.5% of the total, and 15 respondents in the age of 51 to 60, representing 23.1% of the total. So based on the graph, we can say, or we can describe that, we can say that the ages 41 to 50 dominates her respondents. Okay, now the gender, the male and the female, there are only 9 male and there are 56 female. That's a total of 65. Transformed it into a bar graph. This is the interpretation. Accordingly, the 65 respondents consisted of 9 male teachers, that is 13.9% of the total, and 56 female teachers, that is 86.1% of the total. Educational attainment, there are 42 college degree, 21 master's degree, and 2 doctoral degree. Again, bar graph, and this is the interpretation. Accordingly, the 65 respondents consisted of 42 respondents. Educational attainment is college degree, 64.6% of the total. 21 is master's degree, representing 32.3% of the total, and only 2 respondents is doctoral degree, representing 3.1% of the total. I'll be back